I must build this world from love, and we must build this world from love, and if we build this world from love, then God will build this world from love. I must build this world from love. And we must build this world from love. And if we build this world from love, then God will build this world from love.
I want to welcome and thank all of you who are with us this evening. Hopefully those of you who are on Zoom can hear now. I want to thank all of you who are with us this evening, and I say this with both sadness and pride. We all know the reason for sadness. The highest court in our land has stripped us of a basic human right, the right for a woman to be in charge of her own body. That basic human right will now continue with an even greater frenzy as a political football. So even on a day where we are commanded to celebrate joy, Shabbat, this has in fact been a Shabbat of sadness. And I am proud because we are Temple Micah, a community where we lean not only on each other, but we strive to be, I think, in our better moments, in our best hours, a Jewish community that seeks to do honor and uphold the sacred values of our Judaism. It can be very simple. You don't need to read very far into the book of Genesis. All human beings are created in the image of God. We say that. We actually believe that. And we advocate for it. So we are not afraid to bring our Jewish voice outside into the public square, so to speak. And those are the two reasons we're having this in our parking lot. Fear of COVID for people who are indoors, but also we wanted to say who we are outside on the streets. So the National Council of Jewish Women conceived of this idea, Synagogue Havdalah, to close this difficult Shabbat. We, of course, said yes. Thank you for being here. We turn now to our Havdalah ritual. Some of you have actually brought candles. We have matches to help you light, and we will continue now with a Havdalah.
You can also pass your light from your candle to another candle.
Numb, confused, saddened, powerless, defeated. The overturning of a 50-year constitutional right has placed us in the wilderness, disoriented, unsure of where to turn, how to find the path that leads us back on the road we knew ourselves to be traveling. Liberty is a social freedom every being should know and possess. This notion is enshrined in our country's values and our religion's core principles. What was announced yesterday feels like an affront, a slap in the face to human dignity. Where do we go from here? How do we find our ground? How do we stand our ground and gain ground? Most of all, though, I wonder, in anger and dismay, how do we fight this fight with civility? Can we find in our aggrieved cores the strength that will take for respectful debate? Do we think that that's possible? And if not, what of our country? What will the landscape of this post-Roe era be like? I think of the Talmudic tale of the old man who plants a carob tree. We are obligated to each other and to our sacred past to ensure we leave a better world for our children. We must find a way to fertilize this barren, smoldering soil for them. How? Together in our Micah community, with the strength of our covenantal bonds, we must. I don't know how. I pray we find our way.
I counted. Half of the patients I saw arrive this morning at the Falls Church Healthcare Center, where I was escorting patients with my mom and my sister. Half of the patients I saw drive into the parking lot had their kids in the back seat. A lot of Georgia and West Virginia license plates too. According to research from the Guttmacher Institute, 59% of women who have abortions already have at least one child. Of that number, 33% have at least two. Many are stuck in a cycle of poverty that this country makes nearly inescapable. Remaining pregnant would interfere with their ability to care for their children. 24% of people with uteruses will have an abortion by age 45. That's 1 in 4. We all love someone who has had an abortion. If you think you don't, it's likely more accurate that you just don't know someone who has shared their abortion story with you. This is America, just one raw day into the United States of forced birth. I feel rage and devastation and numbness, and I feel it radiating from some of you in this crowd. If you have ever had an abortion, please know that you are loved. And if you will ever need an abortion, you are not alone. We will help you get the healthcare that you need, anytime, for any reason. And if you're worried about the young people in your life who live in Austin or St. Louis or Madison or anywhere in the 26 states with bans already in effect or soon to go into effect, I am too. How did we get to a place where 6 people got to decide that our bodies are not actually ours. Fellow Micah member Yolanda Savage-Narva, who couldn't be here tonight, said in the Reform Movement statement on the fall of Roe, quote, "This decision, which is rooted in anti-Black racism, white supremacy, and other systems of oppression, disproportionately impact those already facing discriminatory obstacles to healthcare and other human rights. This is our shame that we all carry." I have lots of thoughts of immediate actions we can each take to support people who need access to abortions right now. And I welcome you to join me in our Jews for Abortion Access campaign at National Council of Jewish Women. But right now, I'm soaking up this moment of community. Being here with you, Temple Micah, the community that raised me to fight for a better world. It's really easy to feel powerless and hopeless, but just by being here together, I hope we all feel a bit more powerful. Our country needs a seismic change for the next generation. And I don't know what that looks like yet, but I know it has to begin with all of us coming together. My brilliant friend Sarah posted thoughts on the Torah portion we just read, the Shabbat, and I'll end by sharing what she reminded me. This week's Parsha, Shlach Lecha, is the story of the 12 spies who go into the promised land. 10 return and say it would have been better to remain in Egypt or perish in the desert. But 2 return and say it is a very, very good land. What if in that moment the Israelites hadn't listened to Caleb and Joshua? What if they were swayed by the 10? What if they didn't want to forge along on a continuously arduous journey? But that's not our story. The Jewish story is one of continuing to find hope, even when the journey ahead is grueling. The Jewish story is having the strength and forbearance to believe in a very, very good land and then fighting like hell to build it. We've done it before and we can do it again.
We raise our lights. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei mevorei ha'esh borei mevorei ha'esh.
Maimonides wrote that hope is belief in the plausibility of the possible as opposed to the necessity of the probable. In commenting on that, Marshall Gantz wrote, "To be a realist is to know that in the world there is possibility, not just probability. It is always probable that Goliath will win, but sometimes David does. Hope is belief in the plausibility of the possible instead of the necessity of the probable." We have just blessed our candles. Light is our preeminent Jewish symbol. Light is a symbol of the sacred, creation. Light is a symbol of hope. Vaclav Havel, one of this era's prophets of hope, wrote, "Hope is a state of mind, not a state of the world. Either we have hope within us or we don't. Hope is an orientation of the spirit. Hope in this deep sense is not the same as joy, but rather an ability to work for something to succeed. Hope is the certainty that something makes sense. Hope, above all, gives us strength to live, even in conditions that seem hopeless." We will remember that. Hope is a state of mind. Hope is an orientation of the spirit. We are humanity's oldest carriers of hope. Od lo avda tikvatenu, our mantra. We have not lost hope. We will never lose hope. This evening, we end Shabbat and re-enter a world that needs our energies, our passions, our dedication, our wisdom, our spirit, our sense of being together, our hope.
Hamavdil ben kodesh l'cho, Hamavdil ben kodesh l'cho, Hamavdil ben kodesh l'cho. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishvi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagilavi, Bimera Beyaminu, Yavo Eleinu, Imashiach ben David. Imashiach ben David, Miriam HaNeviah, Oz v'Zimra beyada, Miriam tirkod itanu, letaken et ha'olam. I want to read a prayer, but first I want everyone to look down, because what I see are these pools of wax in front of each of us, these pools of wax that are here. And I just want us to remember every time we walk in this parking lot tonight. I want you to look at the pools of wax and rededicate yourself and remember what it meant to stand here, what it meant to be out here in the public, asserting our religious rights, asserting that we want to protect women, to protect all people who give birth, to protect our right for righteous rage. And it is within that tradition that I offer this prayer. God of mercy, God of plague, God of compassion, God of righteous anger, teach us how to choose between the thunder and the dew, between the match and the tear. Tell us when to pray and when to yell. Shout for the welfare of the government. Fight for the welfare of the government, not for its own sake, but for ours. Not for the body politic, but for the body that has been politicized. We pray for the government because we fear it, but maybe it should fear us. Let today be the day we learn our power. May the nation merit our protection as we assert the ability to choose how to breathe, how to birth, how to be in a body, how to be. Amen. We sing one more song, Temple Micah's rallying song, our rallying cry. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place and time again. If not now, then tell me when. I see sorrow and trouble in this land. I see sorrow and trouble in this land. Although there will be struggle, we'll make the change we can. If not now, then tell me when. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place in time again. If not now, then tell me when. We may never see the promised land.
see the promised land. And yet we'll make the journey, we'll walk it hand in hand. If not now, if not now, tell me when. It's not now, if not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place in time again. If not now, tell me when. So we'll work until it's done. Every daughter, every son, every soul that's ever longed for something better, something brighter. Take a change of heart. It will take a change of heart for this to mend. It will take a change of heart for this to mend. But yes, we'll take the journey. We'll walk it hand in hand. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. Sing it harder. Definitely this morning, we'll walk it hand in hand. If not now, tell me when. But miracles do happen every shining now and then. If not now, tell me when. Shabbat.
Very good. Hi, Lori. How you doing?